The Axeman of New Orleans. The terrifying true story of the Axeman murders by Tom Nolan. 30 years after Jack the Ripper ravaged the East End of London, the Axeman of New Orleans terrified an unsuspecting city to its core, labeled as America's own Bayou Jack the Ripper. The Axeman is known to have assaulted 12 innocent people in the Crescent City between May of 1918 and October 1919. His identity remains a mystery to this day. He strolls down the street, his shadow slender and contorted in front of him. The click-clack of his shiny black Oxford smack the cobblestone like the mule hooves and carriages of the French Quarter. Smiling and content, he glances around at the neighborhood filled with the sound of live jazz music from every direction, singing a song that's both lively and tragic. Their notes carry through the Mississippi River breeze out onto the bayou and through the veins of this dark crescent city. The windows of the Creole cottages and stately homes adorned with their painted columns, colorful wood shutters, and petite gardens are peeled open, exposing themselves lustfully to the mysterious demon parading by. He closes his eyes and takes a long, deep breath of fresh air. I love me some jazz, he says to himself in his deep, rich voice. Tipping his slouch hat at the passerby and giving them a confident nod, he says to himself, they listened. There will be no dark and damnable deeds tonight. With images of his borrowed bloody axe flashing through his consciousness, he sets down his trumpet case, pulls out a fresh cigarette and matchstick from his breast pocket, cuffs his hands, and lights it. He leans with one shoulder into a brick wall, puffing smoke rings into the damp air, and watches New Orleans pass by in all her ghastly glory. Looking back on the week before, he recalls chipping away at the back door of the corner shotgun house in that silent Gretna neighborhood and kicking in the corner panel to reach in and unlock the doorknob, letting himself in. He walks slowly through the connecting dark rooms, pausing for a moment in front of the living room doorway, listening for the faint sounds of sleep, careful not to drag the heavy wooden axe along the floor and overthrow his momentum. The grasshoppers and frogs are chirping loudly outside, their soft but powerful hums like jazz notes. He can sway his axe too. He approaches the bedroom door and cracked open just enough to peer in and put his ear to the painted wood panel, holding his breath. Sleep, he whispers. He opens the door so silently and slowly as to not wake his innocent victims, that he smirks in complete satisfaction with himself. He taps his shiny black Oxfords against the corner of the bed frame and raises his arms to strike. He flashes to a vision of the axe, dripping with blood quickly coagulating as the drips become slower and thicker. He pauses for a moment and wonders if he should put the axe back where he found it. In the garden shed, or leave it next to not yet cold family corpses. Deciding to take it with him, he saunters to the icebox in the kitchen and pours a fresh glass of chilled milk. After leisurely gulping, he washes and puts away the glass, uses his sleeve to erase the white liquid from his lips, then cleans himself of the blood splatters strewn across his face and forearms with a dish towel from the kitchen sink. He puts the dirty towel inside the trumpet case and walks out, closing the door behind him and leans the rusty, dripping axe against the door frame as a gesture of politeness that surely the police will find amusing. Tipping his hat as he leaves, he says to himself, "Good night, sweet angel of death." In the dark of night, the axeman slays. He walks slowly through the crisp, early spring air of the city like a swampy sludge of the blackest fear. He knows what he has done and who called him to do it. A demon in the dead of night. His bloody work finished. Hell, March 13th, 1919. In March of 1919, the New Orleans-based Times-Picayune newspapers received a taunting letter from the supposed Axeman. He revealed his love of jazz music and propositioned the citizens of New Orleans to jazz it in their homes the eve of St. Joseph's Day, a major holiday for Italians, or get the axe. The letter reads, Hell, March 13th, 1919. Esteemed mortal of New Orleans, they have never caught me and they never will. They have never seen me, for I am invisible. Even as the ether that surrounds your earth, I am not a human being, but a spirit and a demon from the hottest hell. I am what you Orleanians and your foolish police call the Axeman. When I see fit, I shall come and claim other victims, I alone whom they shall be. I shall leave no clue except my bloody axe, besmeared with blood and brains of he whom I have sent below to keep me company. If you wish, you may tell the police to be careful not to rile me. Of course, I am a reasonable spirit. I take no offense at the way they have conducted their investigations in the past. In fact, they have been so utterly stupid as to not only amuse me, but his satanic majesty, Francis Joseph, etc. But tell them to beware. Let them not try to discover what I am, for it were better that they were never born than to incur the wrath of the Axeman. I don't think there is any need of such a warning, for I feel sure the police will always dodge me, and they have in the past. They are wise and know how to keep away from all harm. Undoubtedly, you Orleanians think of me as a most horrible murderer, which I am, but I could be much worse if I wanted to. If I wished, I could pay a visit to your city every night. At will, I could slay thousands of your best citizens, and the worst, for I am in close relationship with the angel of death. Now, to be exact, at 12:15 earthly time, on next Tuesday night, I am going to pass over New Orleans. In my infinite mercy, I am going to make a little proposition to you people. Here it is. I am very fond of jazz music, and I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose home a jazz band is in full swing at the time I have just mentioned. If everyone has a jazz band going, well, then, so much the better for you people. One thing is certain, and that is that some of your people who do not jazz it out on that specific Tuesday night will get the axe. Well, as I am cold and crave the warmth of my native Tartars, and it is about time I leave your earthly home, I will cease my discourse, hoping that thou wilt publish this, that it may go well with thee. I have been, am, and will be the worst spirit that ever existed, either in fact or realm of fancy. The Axeman. Don't scare me, Papa. 12:15 o'clock, Tuesday evening, March 18th. The residents and revelers of New Orleans jazzed it like they've never jazzed it before. Restaurants, clubs, and bars were overflowing with patrons who felt their lives depended on it. Every musician, whether they had been booked before or not, was contracted. Every neighbor, friend, family member, and stranger were gathered together surrounding the jazz trios and full bands playing their hearts out that night. Every saxophone, trumpet, trombone, drum, clarinet, violin, and piano in the city was humming a tune just for the Axeman's infatuated ear. Inspired by the letter to the Times, a suspicious composer named Joseph John Davila claimed to have composed the mysterious Axeman's jazz "Don't Scare Me, Papa" while waiting for the Axeman. A bit of a self-promoter, by that Thursday morning, he was offering the sheet music for sale to the public at a price. His business maneuver was so shrewd that many thought he could have written the letter himself as part of a marketing plot to further sell his composition. On Wednesday, March 19th, St. Joseph's Day, the Time printed an illustration depicting a family frantically playing jazz music from their piano, with looks of sheer terror on their faces as they waited for the Axeman to pass over the city. The article described all of the jazzy festivities across the metropolitan area and the fact that the Axeman did not strike that evening. Mr. Davila would later use this very illustration as the cover of his well-known published sheet music. The victims were mostly Italian immigrants or Italian Americans, initially leading to speculations of a mafia-related feud. While many of them were Italian grocers as well. Did he have prejudice against these immigrant families? Did they offend, ridicule, or hurt him in some way? Or was it all just random acts of violence? The world may never know. We do know that those who survived his attacks were left with a ghostly vision for the rest of their lives of a dark man wielding a heavy axe over their beds and raining his strength down upon their sleeping bodies. The threat caused a citywide panic, causing many to host parties with live jazz, according to Times. For the aftermath, the murders abruptly stopped in October of 1919. No one was ever arrested or identified as the killer, leaving the case as one of the city's most famous unsolved mysteries. Recent investigations, including work by historians like Miriam C. Davis, have analyzed the social panic and the unjust accusations of an innocent grocer and his son during the investigation. So even to this day, the identity of the Axeman was never identified. It was never cleared. So questions still remain. Who is the Axeman? Was he a man, or was he a spirit? And that is all I have for you guys tonight. If you like what you're watching, please leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.